Well, today's going to be a special day. We're actually going to be doing recycling today. So Henry and I and Garbage Barge, which is the Subaru, are going to hook the trailer up. We're going to go down to the Recology Center in San Mateo, and you're going to get to see how my recycling operation works at home. You'll get to see a cart update. You'll get to see pretty much behind the scenes of Bill's house here, actually. So should be a lot of fun. Hopefully the video turns out well, and well, we'll see how it goes. So first thing in order, obviously, is why don't we give you a little tour to kind of see what is going on around here. So you got Henry here is going to be hanging out, keeping an eye on things, make sure we're doing it right. And we're going to kind of get a quick tour of the carts. So we're going to be taking that one full of glass. We got one of my favorites here, the one that good old Jarrett hooked me up with, which we actually have full of non-CRV glass. It's been a little while, so my new crate to supplement the rotting cardboard boxes that I have to get away or throw away. Cans, we got the other two 120-gallon Cascades, which I have full of. One with cans, the other one here, which is all that's going to be sorted today, and full of CRV plastic. And then one of my favorites over there, thank you Jared for letting me use that one. That one's actually full of CRV glass. And we're going to be taking a few other things. So we got a lawnmower. Sorry guys, this Craftsman is going to be scrapped. It's a little messed up. And a bicycle carrier, which is also missing parts, and a weed whacker. That'll be going down with us. You got a can here. Let's see. I'm going to see one of my can crusher, which is actually a pretty neat purchase. I was very happy with this. So this thing's pretty cool because obviously you put the can in here, you crush it. We'll show you a video how that works later. It slides down the thing, crushes cans like that, and then I'm going to hunt down a few other little things here to kind of organize that. And as soon as we get the operation put together, I'll show you how it works. All right, so here's the operation. So I take all the recycles from my dealership that I work for. And when I take the trash out, I sort out all the recycles and I bring them home with me. So how I do this, the most efficient way I've found is, obviously, you got one Cascade full of cans. This one's full of CRV plastic, which obviously, because I do more cans than plastic, I put all the things that I need to sort in here in bags. And then I kind of take them out like this. You know, I take one of my Rubbermaid trash cans here and fold it through a standard size aluminum cans, which I then crush in this guy right here. I take non-standard cans like the the Full Throttle, the Starbucks cans, Monster Energy drinks, Red Bulls, that kind of thing, and I put them in one of my milk crates here, which I'm gonna stomp, Master Godzilla stomp over here. Same thing with the bottles. I take CRV plastic and I take the non-standard, stronger ones, which I'll crush by foot. I take my the easy water bottles, which I'll crush by hand. All the plastic goes into here. And then obviously we'll see what happens next. Oh yes, and forgot to mention, I come out here and we'll see my glass situation. So this guy over here is full of glass. Normally I would use this at the dealership, but in my new dealership that's not really very doable. So I bring it home and I fill it full of non-CRV glass. I got my one of my favorite carts here that I fill full of CRV glass. You see, I'm just going to take this because this is getting heavy and I'm not going to want to deal with it. My little Santa Clara County toter, which I fill full of this is normally my kitchen trash that I store and take to work with me to throw away. I have been filling it full of the non-CRV glass overflow since we drink a lot of wine at my house. And so that's the whole operation. This is basically how I sort recycles, and we'll keep going with this and show you how the process works. All right, so now after sorting, you can see this is all the plastic that I've got. We're going to do the cans. So we're going to start off by taking your standard size aluminum cans, you put it right here in this guy, and the cool thing is it crush it like that, and then it kicks the can into the slot, fills up the bottom. Then I dump it into this guy. Not really sure how I'm going to do that because we're kind of full. I did kind of crush all the monsters and the red bulls and stuff because, you know, well, doing it by foot is the most efficient way to do it, because you can't really put those big ones into this guy. They just don't fit. You know, I mean, this thing is specifically designed to hold a standard size aluminum can, so you can see, you know, having it on. It doesn't really work. So there you have it. All right, we'll finish this off and we'll go do bottles next. All right, well, I had too many cans, I determined, to fit into the top of that cascade there. So I decided just to bag them. We'll put them on the trailer. All right, now it's time for bottles. So now what we're gonna do, I'll show you how I do my plastic bottles. So basically, these are weak, so I don't worry about, you know, putting too much work into it. They're kind of, you know, crush them by hand here. Close the top off so that way they don't reinflate, and then throw them in there like that. And so we're gonna do, you know, a whole bunch more like this. And by the way, the lip of these cascades is pretty great for this. I learned this a few years ago, that this was the best way to do it. And you just throw it in there, fill it up, and then so we'll do these, then I'll show you how I do the non-standard thicker bottles, which I can't really do this by hand. All right, now that we've got all of our little water bottles and stuff crushed, on to the big stuff. Okay, so the reason why I don't crush this stuff by hand is because, frankly, these Powerade bottles are pretty thick. I mean, they're pretty thick, you know, tough plastic. They don't crush very well, even obviously even if I take the cap off. So what I typically do is I'll take the cap off and I just gorilla stomp these guys. Get them all stomped, get them crushed. You know, obviously put the cap back on. Get them flat. Get as much room as I can. Now, another step that I have to do is because I don't really need ants or issues with bugs or whatever that may come up from things like the sugars and stuff in these bottles that have fluid still in them. So what I typically do is I'll pour them in this and I'll fill up the container with fluid, you know, whatever it is, and then I'll pour it down the sink so that way, you know, the guys at the recycle center don't give me grief. They don't give me grief and tell me that I have to empty all my bottles and then do it at their facility, which then I'll have like a line of people behind me giving me grief, you know, freaking out because I'm taking up the space, because obviously this whole process kind of takes a while, and you'll see when we get there what the big deal is with that. So, all right, so we'll go crush all the bottles, and then we'll get the next step. All right, so here is the official cart update. This is my first one, I believe. So here it is. So we've got a toter that I acquired from my boss from the county of Santa Clara. He lives out in Morgan Hill, and I think Green Waste picks up out there. So he didn't really get to keep that. Well, he kept it, but he didn't want it, so he gave it to me because he knows that I'm into these things. So I took it from him. Jared hooked me up with this waste management. I think this is a Cascade. I could be wrong. I'm sure y'all be corrected by that. But basically, this one's collected by the old pod front loaders that had the automated arm on the bucket that predated the Corrado can. It would hook up into that. Non-CRV glass in that. CRV glass in that. Cans, bottles, and non-CRV glass in there. So we got my 120-gallon Cascades that we had acquired from the waste management yard out in Palmdale. And This one here was a another gift from Jared, which I actually use in the Subaru to put my you know, trash and stuff from the car. And then we got this guy, one of my favorite little guys here, which I'm always quite fond of. Wish I could use it at the dealership, non-CRV glass. Pretty heavy stuff, especially because it's full of water because of the hole on the top, and it's been raining like crazy. And so the official cart update, unfortunately, I used to have a whole lot more of them, but since I've moved to various places and it limited the amount of room that I had to actually keep carts, I only kept the ones that were practical to me. And then these ones obviously are actually not just for showcasing, they're actually for being used regularly. So we'll load these up in the trailer, and I'll show you how I strap all that down, and then we'll head to the recycling center. All right, so now that we're all done and we're all set up, we want to get the trailer set up. So the fun part is I haven't actually shown you how neat this trailer is, really. So it's a stand-up trailer, and it's actually very, very cool because it does a couple of neat things. You know, the ramp here, you know, folds down flat. You got the ramp gate, which also folds, and then this is actually a pump, so that way the ramp can actually be lowered and raised hydraulically to act as a motorcycle ramp. Obviously, we're not going to be using it as a motorcycle ramp. We're using it as a cart hauler, so I can go to the recycle center with it. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to be pulling it by hand, hooking it up to garbage barge, and then we'll see how it goes. All right, now that we've got garbage barge connected to the trailer, so this is how all this is transported. So we're going to take all this down to the MRF, the San Mateo County Recology Recycle Center, and we're going to go unload this stuff. It takes about 45 minutes to get there, and we'll see you there. All right, we finally made it. The material recovery facility. We have made it. So let's get the stuff unloaded and we'll get out of here. All right, so now we're done with the putting away. Got her all strapped up. So after all that work, what's my haul? How much did they give me for? And so you figure after all that work, we got plastic, 30 pounds of plastic, looks roughly about 50 pounds of the aluminum cans, got 83 pounds of scrap glass, or excuse me, CRV glass, you know, and a boatload of scrap glass. You got disappointing, just not a whole lot, to be honest with you. $123. Kind of disappointed. Should have been more than that, but you know, I'll take it. Whoa. Big ruckus over here. But hey, you know what? 123 bucks for taking out the trash. Not a bad haul. All right, well, that wraps it up. That was the adventures to the San Carlos Recology Material Recovery Facility. It's great fun having you. Thank you so much for joining me on this tour, and yeah, we'll see you on the next go around. Good old Henry here was working hard today. Huh, Henry? You worked pretty hard today. Had a rough job. Had Lagan in the car keeping an eye on it while we were getting everything set up. Poor guy. Working like a dog.